Hi there! This is an extract from a longer video I made called I Was Studying the Cut, which released about a month ago. That video itself is a part of an autobiographical series I'm working on. I Was Studying the Cut is about my experiences in film school, and it's honestly a bit of a behemoth, but I think that some of these parts work as independent videos as well. I just wanted to let you know that there is a broader context that might make some lines here and there make more sense. If you like this, go check out the series, and yeah, I'll see you on the other side. Oh shit! It's the new wave! Now, I kinda hate talking about the new wave. It always feels like you need a lot of advertisement words to give it its due. You know, words like rebellious, or innovative, or revolutionary, and I know that's unfair. The new wave was all that and more, but man, the whole snazzy jazzy skabadabadoo vibe that's required to talk about it is just ugh. What's interesting about the new wave, guys, and see if you can spot the insider baseball here, was that they were all critics. A bunch of the biggest directors in the scene started off as writers for Cahiers du Cinéma, including Truffaut and Godard we'll be touching on briefly. But they were kinda controversial because instead of venerating the European art cinema that their peers liked, these guys were all about the Hollywood studio directors like Hitchcock. Which brings me to the words not in the advertisement Bible. The Caillou gang were kinda like the poptimists of their times. As critics, as directors though, they observed the trends and styles of the generations before them only to turn them on their heads. In that way, they were kind of the hyperpop of mid-century cinema. Now, that might sound like a comparison straight out of someone's ass, which it is, my ass, but if you stop to think about it, this works a lot better than you'd expect. In a similar way that hyperpop takes some perceived flaws of pop music, like say the plasticiness, and amplifies them to the point where it becomes the whole aesthetic, the new wave has a similarly playful attitude towards things that were considered flaws before they made them into a part of the lexicon. Mostly it has to do with continuity, which the new wave guys broke pretty egregiously with stuff like jump cuts. To me, both hyperpop and the new wave can be described with the terms annoying but cool. To kinda get further away from my ass though, I watched this MIT lecture about Truffaut's 400 Blows to get my grounding on the subject. In it, the lecturer draws a similarity between the new wave and neorealism, which is a link so obvious I'm ashamed I didn't notice it myself. Both movements are mostly about the streets, but as the lecturer points out, neorealism is a lot more message-forward, serious, straight to the point, whereas the new wave is more playful, poetic, and formally explorative. I think that's the critic part of the new wave speaking, because stuff like this is something that rises out of being more theoretical and introspective about film as an art form. Like, watching a lot of movies and thinking about them is the breeding ground for ideas, guys. Let's not get it twisted, a bunch of the stuff that makes new wave is the ideas guys type activities. Hey, what if we made the intertitles cool? And I'm not trying to poo-poo the whole thing, although we're gonna get there, but that's the vibe I got. It's undeniably cool as an ethos. It pushes the whole art form forwards in previously unimaginable ways. One of those medium-wide flashpoints where you can clearly point out that there was a before and an after. But then our teacher decided that our first contact with it should be Jean-Luc Godard's Weekend. Aw man, I remember the screening like it was yesterday. One of our teachers had to leave sick during the day, so they put the first year class with us, and that's some major bad luck. We started the movie with like 30 to 35 students in attendance, but by the time we stopped it was me, my, well, let's say friend, and one exceptionally patient first-year student. Our teacher had sat outside of the auditorium to interview people leaving, which was a baller move, but when I got out, I was fuming. I'm not proud, but I was angry in a way only weirdo online conservatives really get. Fucking
French New Wave.
fucking
Rejection of traditional filmmaking.
fucking
Non-continuity editing.
I stood there shouting for like 5 minutes while my teacher watched on, amused, asking questions like, "You think that's not on purpose?" I hadn't hated a movie this intensely before, so it was kind of a shock to the system. I gotta say it, Godard had me. He had me good. So, okay, let's talk about the movie. Weekend kinda starts off cool. A woman recounts sexual adventures she's been on recently, and the whole scene is shot in this beautifully backlit kitchen. By this point, I had already come across Bataille's Story of the Eye, so all of this got me leaning forward in my chair. See, intertextuality was all the rage in the early 2010s. We couldn't get enough of the idea that something was done before, and again now. I feel like that's the only part I really like about Weekend. I don't know how I'd feel about it now, and there's a seething cat demon that lives in my heart that doesn't want me to figure out either. I just remember the burning coal of resentment while watching the dumb fucking 8-minute scene of car driving past a traffic jam, the endless inane conversations that seem to mostly be non sequiturs, and of course the killing of a real pig on screen, which is grounds enough to fully write the whole fucking thing off. It's not like a bad looking film or whatever, but it was just maybe too difficult or too annoying or too whatever for me to digest at any other emotional level than pure fucking hatred. Brom's been trying to get me into Godard for a couple of years now, and we're currently engaged in a project to watch movies from this Canadian director called Isaiah Medina, who's clearly riffing on similar ideas to Godard. While I can't fully commit to being a Medina guy either, his movies are difficult as fuck, I do feel compelled by them, and by proxy towards Godard as well. I watched another lecture / panel thing about Godard in preparation for this part, because if I'm gonna be dumb, I wanna be dumb in a way I can arm wrestle myself out of.
I can feel the pressure.
And in said panel, the moderator mentions that Weekend was essentially like an end of an era for Godard. He even proclaims it at the end of cinema. Whatever those terms mean specifically in this case is a bit of a mystery to me. Again, I'm not a big new wave guy, but Weekend kind of feels like movies shooting themselves in the head, so that whole thing tracks. I'll have to see what the future brings for me and old Jean-Luc, but right now, we're still living in the past where we are enemies.